It is my pleasure to be here today and to host you again on the program Biafra Global Network, on the platform Biafra Global Network. The program today, of course, every Monday we have the we are working and we're looking at the content of our mind makeup to in relation to our activities, behavior, the way we operate, the way we do things, and how we can get results if we do things right. I want to welcome you to this live broadcast today. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and this is Biafra Global Network. And we're going to be looking at something critical today because the most important thing or the best thing that can happen to any kinds of people is for them to ask why they are still not getting results in spite of whatever they are doing or in spite of fighting for a particular thing for years, especially when it has taken time and they have tried so many things, yet the enemies keep coming against them, and the enemy keep coming, penetrating them. And of course, at that point in time, you ask yourself, why is it that I'm always getting this kind of result? And that is why today we shall be speaking extensively on this. By Wednesday, there's something I'm going to be speaking about, and I want you to be by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Biafra time. There's something I want you to be very vigilant and very optimistic to that and prepared for that broadcast, because I'm going to be speaking and giving you a clue of why it will be difficult and why we don't need Biafra now. Somebody will say, what are you talking about? We need Biafra, but we would have to get Biafra after we deal with this matter I'm going to be speaking on Wednesday. Because the truth here is, if we get Biafra now, we are going to be done for it. In fact, it will take us years to recover. And there's something I want to point out on Wednesday that will interest you, that will make you agree with me that before we ever talk about getting Biafra, then this matter must be dealt with. And it's very critical. I'm going to be bringing, the nation, the South Sudan nation to you, and I'm going to be giving you some analysis from that, because of course most of us have talked about South Sudan. We have stories and all of that and all of that and all of that. But anyways, yes, South Sudan today is independent. They had a referendum in 2011, and then of course in 2013 they got into another civil war, and by July 2011, they were already referendum program, and they for 1 week they had that referendum. And of course they got the referendum not by just moping and thinking that some people from somewhere would come and help them, like Biafrans always think that United Nations or some militia programs and activities will give them freedom or give them attention of the world, without understanding the crux of the matter. That the fact is that there are some basic strategy that are going to be adopted for you to get results. In the present world that we are in, a unique strategy to get your referendum and to let cause less harm to your people. Unique strategy, cause less harm to your people, get the attention of the world, and still get results, get your referendum. But I want to tell you, by the broadcast I'm going to make on Wednesday, I'm going to prove to you that we don't need Biafra now. If you like, some people want to cut this part. He said we don't need Biafra now. But if you want to cut, just you just understand, just cut fully and give them the real message. Let the people understand the real message I'm trying to make here. We don't need Biafra now. And I'll tell you why. But by the time I finish telling you why, you will know that we need Biafra more than now, more than ever. But we need Biafra in the context of the message I'm going to be delivering on Wednesday. I want to welcome you. Thank you so much. Ego, my sister. Comrade, good to have you here. and every other person who is watching, right now, these days we've been having few viewers, of course, but later people watch. And anyway, so of course, when you begin to patronize truth, people will run away. And I'm not an Zama broadcaster who is looking for viewership. So because of viewership, yes, I need viewership because we need to spread the truth. That doesn't mean I will compromise truth. It's impossible. So those of you who think that when they have told you that stop watching him and you are running away, and you think that's when you run away, I'll now look at it, oh, my viewership has gone down, or I need to come back and begin to patronize lies so that I'll receive more viewers, like other people like Raf and Co did, like all those criminals, like they have done. They are eating their shit. They are eating the shit. They not even vomit. Their shit. They shit. They eat the shit. They eat shit. They eat them. We are not those who have made up, those who make up the accountability and transparency group are not shit eaters. We don't eat shit. We shit and we dispose of the shit because we know that the shit is waste. So we say the truth, we lie not, as Paul said in Romans chapter 9, verse 1, I say the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness. One thing that bears witness within us is our conscience. So we don't patronize lies to you see, one dangerous thing that you can do in life, let me teach some of you this, very, very important, so that you can be firm, be focused, and you can follow life and pursue life like you know what your purpose is. One biggest mistake you can make is to try to please or impress people in your quest for your future, for your purpose, and for mission. When you try to please or impress people, you are going to be messed up, because the truth about it is that the people you want to impress don't even have what you are looking for. They can't give you what you're looking for. They can only give you their opinions. That's what they can give you. And of course, you know what it means. There are several opinions in the hearts of people. So which of the opinions are you going to take? That means it is a very dangerous thing to patronize the act of impressing people, because it's an act, not an art. Act. The act of impressing people is very dangerous, because it simply means that you don't even have knowledge of what has been revealed to you to do, especially when you're in the line of truth. Because it has been revealed to you, it simply means that the content of achieving it is by following the dictates or the doctrine of the truth that supports or that comes with the revelation that you have gotten, which means every revelation has a central truth to it. And fundamentally, the central truth leads to the details, the nitty-gritties, the details that make up that central truth. And you cannot find it in the midst of trying to impress people. So when you want to, some people want to see that they want to impress, you just end up constituting a nuisance, because you will end up confused, you'll end up in a lie or in lies, and you end up regretting why you did what you're doing. Because the truth is, pleasing people, then it simply means that you're going to have varieties of people to please and varieties of opinions, because all they can give you is their opinion when you want to please them. They tell you what is in their heart and you want to please them, and another person comes up and tells you what is in his heart. You want to please them and all of that. That is why it is very important. The strategy that Accountability and Transparency Group is using is that we are going to come together. We are not looking at anybody's face. We say, this is how it's going to be. You tell me this is how it's going to be. I tell you this is how it's going to be. We all say this is how it's going to be. We now look at the ideas together, not looking at anybody's face. And then we now look at the central truth in between the ideas and come with the facts that will help us set up the right platform or the right idea or the right objective for what we need to do. We're going to be dealing with this, talking about this more on Wednesday. Just prepare for Wednesday. Wednesday's broadcast will be very explosive, very, very explosive. Because the title of that topic, that broadcast will be, We Don't Need Biafra Now. And you'll be shocked at what I am going to be saying on Wednesday, because I'm going to be saying some extensive information, giving some extensive information to you that will help you understand what we are doing now is very dangerous to what we're looking for. If you don't know that what we are doing now, what you are seeing now play in Biafra land, Superintendent superintended by those who are abroad, and who are causing devastation, using the people, using monies, and because our people are so easy to be. That's what I'm going to be dealing on today, anyways. The vulnerable side of our people. So I'm going to be going there now. Thank you for watching. Please, as you join in, like this video, share it on all your social media platforms. Let the people join in watching. If you have not subscribed, go and subscribe. I see that some people will subscribe, some people will unsubscribe. The number will go up, the number will come down. The number goes up, it comes down. People are struggling with maintaining and believing in the truth. People are struggling with the issue of truth. You don't need to struggle with truth, because truth will always prevail. It might cause you some discomfort initially. It might cause you some struggles and rejections and all of that. But you don't need people's opinion. The truth here is that people naturally that want to suit what they want. And whatever they want you to, your mind, design your concept to suit what they want. Because as long as we know it, and as much as we know it, the human nature naturally, unless you can encounter people who have defeated, then you can have a very good companion, or you can have a compatible team to work with. So we are bringing people who have defeated. What they have come for has nothing to do with what they think they want to achieve for themselves, but what they want to achieve for everybody. Because the freedom we seek is for the benefit, not just you, but us. I'll take you through this today, but before I go on with the things I'm going to say today, I want to give my condolence to the people of Morocco. I know that most of you have heard the story, the earthquake, that about 6.5 magnitude earthquake that has that leveled a whole village, and I mean over 2,600 people dead now. We want to send our condolences. We are just opportune by God's grace that we're in zones where earthquake earthquake happens every moment. Under the earth there are these movements and all of that, but some are not conspicuous. Some of them are just you don't even know they're happening. They are happening every moment, because the earth is moving. Under the ground there are some movements, and but it has some great effect on some particular areas in the world on earth where there's a major jam, and then it causes such kinds of quake and magnetic shock, and then it destroys and causes harm and all of that. And we are sending our condolences. We thank God that God has given us opportunity not to be destroyed by such. When you look at the universe and creation, you begin to wonder at the marvelousness of God and the marvelousness of creation. And when you look at the human metabolism, the human makeup, everything that has to do with the human nature and creation, and every other thing that is created, and even the things that are in the sea. You have more creatures than on land, and you begin to wonder how marvelous God is. And so we send our condolences. That's what we can do. Our condolences. There's little we can do. There's some people who are still under the rubbles because of borders. Borders are blocking the road, so it is very difficult to reach to where they are, and lots of things are happening. But we'll keep praying for them, praying for the souls of those who have departed. Of course, cannot change those who are still alive. Brothers, God keep them and grant them ability to God. Network have started. I don't know. It seems my network have started. I'm using the other network because the other one yesterday messed me up. I thought the data was through. I didn't know the data was on. And throughout yesterday, it went off. So I decided to use this one that always goes on and off. I think it's more reliable. Ego, you understand what I'm saying? It's only those who don't like truth that are unsubscribing, not sharing, and not liking. They are immune to truth. That's it. Those who don't have, so they will keep doing, those who, when the hard truth comes, this unsubscribe, they go off. So we'll keep having them go off. The people who are truth, we will keep coming on and subscribing to this and liking the videos and circulating, sharing, because that is the least we can do to propagate the truth. I can tell you what this truth is doing to some hearts. You can never tell that what this sharing you have done to somewhere or a platform, that it has healed somebody's heart, knowing that there is truth somewhere coming and people are holding on to the truth. That is why it's very important that we deal with that we always stand on the path of truth. Welcome to today's broadcast. Today is the 11th day of September 2023. Today is Monday, the first working day of the week. And I want to welcome you. Of course, this is about 17 minutes or 60 minutes past 5 Biafra time. And we are going to be 60 minutes past Biafra time right now. Today, 11th day, Monday, 11th of September 2023. It is very good for us to put these things, say these things, so that it will be put on record that this broadcast actually happened this so day, so that the time when this broadcast will become an evidence of the truth, and of course to show to the enemies that this person actually said the truth this time. People can make references and say, okay, wow, it happened at so time. And that is why we always put a time, we always write it down so that we can always look at it and scroll down and know what time it is and what day it is, what month it is, and all of that, so that we can, and what year it is, so that people can, be updated and of course follow, the program. I want to welcome you to this program today. Now I'm going to start with a very fundamental thing. Now today we're looking at, we are not ready for Biafra if we don't deal with these facts. And I'm going to be aligning these facts from the central point of knowledge, which means whatever you know is your limitation. I want you to take this critically as the basis and forming the foundation or the central truth for this broadcast today. What you know right now is your limitation. In fact, what you just learned now, wherever you learned it, whatever you learned just now is your limitation, because you don't know more than what you just learned now and what other information you already have inside of you, including me. What I know now is my limitation. So no matter the knowledge I've amassed or gathered or acquired or all of that, what I have, what I know right now in my mind, and that is in my mind, and that I know as my knowledge, is my limitation. Because every limitation has grades and levels, which means that the much I know limits me to what I can do, because that is what I know, and I can't do more than what I know. The more also somebody else who knows at a level knows at their level, and they can't do more than what they know. So we all have levels of knowledge, and that limits us on different levels. But what we can learn, which means that at every point in time where I have a limited knowledge, I still have the chance to learn. Why life itself is a learning program, it's a learning ground, it's a learning platform. Life itself generally is a learning platform, because in the process of learning, you are fulfilling purpose, because you use those information to do what you have to do. And the important thing here is that you must learn every day. And what you learn helps you to understand what has been right, what has been wrong, and keeps updating you on details and on facts that you should know and all of that. And very, very important and critical and crucial. Now, I'm going to begin with a very unusual narrative that exposes our minds, because from this narrative now, I'm going to bring out a psychological disposition to this. Because if we talk about what we can't achieve Biafra now unless we deal with these facts, then you begin to wonder, are you saying that everything we have been doing does not give us Biafra, or everything we have been, the things we have been, doing, activities we've been carrying out and all of that does not really quantize with the format for achieving Biafra? Yes, I'll tell you. You know why? Because from the moment Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, that moment things went bad. I'm saying very bad, because those who kidnapped him were in the crew, are people who are part of the DOS. Some of them are not DOS members, but some of them are on the DOS, that's Directorate of State of IPOB. And those ones in that Directorate of States now began to implement the reason why they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or want to kill him. Because the reason for kidnapping him was to take him off the way in conjunction with the politicians, so that ESN he had created will be impotent and will not be able to achieve the result or achieve the purpose why it was created. Now, let me tell you something. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not kidnapped all this while. But as soon as ESN was created and the dragon flag was lifted, they were able to penetrate him through the people who are close, who also have seen IPOB as business. And seeing that ESN is now created, it will stop them from continuing business, because once ESN and everything becomes materialized and the design and the reason for creating ESN becomes full-fledged, it will now give us access to Biafra quickly, and all their criminality and collecting monthly dues and stealing from the people will end. So they saw it as, one, as a threat to their regular income. Two, they saw it also as an opportunity to make money, because as at that time, as soon as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu created ESN and then raised the dragon flag, the Arewa and Co. and is it what they call those is northern groups, they laid a bounty of 100 million naira or dollars, I can't remember, 100 million naira on its head. And trust our people, once they hear money, oh, their ears tingle and all of that. And of course, that was when partner the politicians and the behavior around Anambra election. You will understand what I'm saying. It's very, very easy. So anybody who is telling you that why you accuse DOS and why do you say there are so many facts that prove it, but the only way they can tell us that they are not part of it, if they want to prove that, because by everything, by standard and everything we have seen, they are part of the kidnap and extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And if they want to prove otherwise, then all they why it seems please, I hope I'm still connected. I think I'm back on track. So are they scared of setting up an inquiry or a committee of inquiry? An inquiry. Why are they afraid of fact-finding committee? Simple, because it will indict them. I don't see myself, why would I be afraid of something that will bring out the truth about my leader if I really love him? I claim to love my leader. So why would I be afraid of a fact-finding committee that will help me expose those who dealt with my leader? That is the critical question. People should begin to think. So now the first point here now is that we must begin to think. That's the first point I want to bring before I go to the next point that is very critical, that is unusual. We have been talking about reason, ability to reason, and why we should reason, and we keep reasoning and all of that. We've been talking about this for a long time. And the fact that we don't want to reason, but we want to be partisan, or we want to just shove things under the carpet and I'll just say, let's say that one is not important for now, and let's just focus later. No, you don't do that. That's nonsense. You don't say shove it under the carpet and later let's just first get Biafra. How are you going to get Biafra when you're hiding the facts that will lead you to Biafra? When you're hiding the truth, an evil has been committed. And that evil is a proof that truth is being threatened, or truth is being fought against. Truth is being fought against. And you said, let's just keep it under the carpet when we get Biafra. That truth that you are keeping under the carpet is very, very important for the Biafra you want to get. So how do you get it? When you have not dealt with that truth, or when you have not dealt with that threat to that truth. You need to deal with the threat first. Deal with the threat, and then you can now talk about the truth itself, giving you the result. So you can't enter into Biafra when you have not dealt with the issues that are fighting, and debilitating to truth. You have to deal with the threats. Deal with them first, and then you can get what you want to get. Now, that's why I talked about reason. We have to reason. Why is it that I love someone and he appointed me on the DOS, and then I claim to love him so much? I'm just breaking it down very well so that you can understand from my point of view why the DOS is never going to be exonerated until there's a fact-finding committee, and then you can now talk about the DOS. Now, when we talk about the DOS, it's comprised of everybody who make up that body, because if some of them are still on that platform, knowing that some people were part of what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they are still quiet and not talking about a fact-finding committee, it is not about my personal evidence. No, it is about the evidence that comes from everybody who is, to an extent, has something to prove that someone is an accomplice or someone is involved. So I know those. I can just come and tell you that I know those who can now tell you that this person, that person, that person. Doesn't make sense. I must subject my evidences to a fact-finding committee made up of professionals who are going to reason along that line, and then who are going to now carry out critical, analysis, searches, scrutiny, investigation, and all of that to get the facts from all evidences that are available, and from evidences down the line of search or investigation. That is when you now begin to talk about people who are reasonable and people who are right. Then I just say, oh, he is not part of it. He's not person. Oh, he's so quiet. He's so gentle. Oh, I have a relationship with maybe one of them there, and I say, oh, he can this one. Not behave like that professionally. That is absurd. That is out of place, and that makes no sense in the realm, in the world we live in today, in a global stage where critical matters as this. You can sit by and watch a leader of a nation kidnapped, and everybody's sitting there 2 years plus, and they're just dancing around, telling you, coming to constitute me when they want to come on, and they keep talking and blabbing and making so much noise, empty, without nothing to show for those noise. They keep patronizing the politicians, making monies for themselves, building houses in their villages and all of that. And the person who started the program, who started the movement, Biafra movement, that all of them around him are building houses for amassing wealth for themselves, doing lots of things, putting the people, defrauding people, including Simon and Co., defrauding the people. And the man who started the movement has not, for the years he has been in this system, taken any money to build a house for himself. He's still living in his father's house. Doesn't that show you that there's something wrong somewhere? Now, let me go to the point I want to make today. Now, I want to lead you first. Before I say this, let me say this because some people might not understand the gravity of this. Now, have you ever wondered why our people are so concerned? Because when you are your enemies, there are some psychological submissions that are very necessary for you to evaluate your behavior and your attitude that will lead you to some clues to your problems. Because when you have some psychological therapy that helps you to evaluate your behavior and the way you reason and the way you perceive things and all of that, will help you along the line. Let me talk to you right through this line, and so that you can understand. I think I posted on other platforms. I was asking a critical. I think it was just on Facebook and maybe accountability and transparency page on Facebook also, and on, of course, Biafra Global Network page on Facebook. You can check them out. I think I posted that on those platforms also, and on my personal Facebook profile. I said something. I said, and I was thinking deep, because it's when you analyze things, some things that you just overlook sometimes, when you think about them deeply, they can actually lead you to a particular truth that you need to access what you want to access and get information about what has been your problems. And I've been wondering what is really the problem with Biafra, because I started looking at the criminality going on in the world, how these people, do you know that now that Guyana, oil has been found in Guyana, I think Guyana is in South America or something, in that continent and all of that. Once more, the poorest, a very poor nation, but there are less than 1 million people. Oil have been found there, and that oil was found by ExxonMobil, and today I think they have about a reserve of over 10 billion barrels or something like that. And today Guyana is now making money. Since 2015, they discovered oil, and they are discovering more oil stuff and all of that. And the West now are beginning to invade that territory. Formerly, Guyana was under the British a colony of Britain and all of that. Guyana is made up of mostly people from Africa who were taken as slaves into Jamaica, Guyana, all those places, Barbados and all those places. Now, oil have been found there. Their eyes are there now. They're going there to invest. And very soon now, Biafrans will begin to rush in there, because there are less than 1 million. We are running around all over the nations of the world looking for where things are happening. We have oil in Biafra land, but they will leave Biafra land. They will run to Guyana. They'll go to Guyana because they feel that it is easier to make it outside their own land. Now, I began to think deep. What is really the problem? Why is it that we have so many problems in Africa? And so many, look at Mali, look at Burkina Faso, look at Gabon, look at Guinea. Guinea has bauxite, and bauxite is very, 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 very powerful stuff that is needed. And they are stealing bauxite from the West, stealing bauxite from Guinea and causing instability in that region, so that they'll keep stealing the resources of the people. And I begin to wonder, what is going on? What is going on? What are we doing wrong? What are we not doing right? And I began to analyze the strategies we have been using for all that we've been fighting for Biafra all this while, from the time Uwazuruke began this thing, and from the time we are complaining before Uwazuruke now began, and then Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started, and all of that, and how the people with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in spite of the fact that he has the good heart, the people with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now want to sustain the strategy of Uwazuruke and other people. So they made Biafra Project look like a family. Yes, there's a need for you to have, streamline these things to the communities, where you can gather local communities to form IPOB, so that it will be strong and the doctrine and the message of truth will be communicated. But what they do in the local communities is this: the doctrine of truth is not communicated. What they are only told is that they need freedom, that they want to get Biafra, but they are not being taught. They are not being carried through psychological therapy and for orientation and reorientation. So in the grassroots level, the people are thinking of Biafra, but their mindset is of Nigeria. And that is what some of these people in the DOS want. So that the people will keep thinking like Nigeria. When you give them 500 naira, you tell them, go and vote for, and we're looking for Biafra, but go and vote for this person. Oh, thank you for this 500 naira. Oh, thank you for this salt and for this gari. Thank you for this rice. Thank you for this spaghetti. That is the problem. So the strategy here is they kept the people in the darkness. Of course, they frustrated it, refusing to allow Radio Biafra to go to the nooks and crannies of Biafra land. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spent so much money on Radio Biafra, yet it was not penetrating the lands. They will be moving receiver from one corner to the other and tell you, oh, you have put receiver in this particular place. And the other place where they said they had receiver before, nothing. They had moved receiver from one state to another. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would think that receiver has reached the other place. He said, yeah, people will call from there. Wow, we are receiving Radio Biafra. He said, wow, we've gotten a receiver. And then and before you know it, millions of dollars were spent on radio and nothing to show for it. So you discover that the information and the message that would have transformed the minds of the people in the grassroots level from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could not penetrate. Rather, those who were blocking it were the ones who, because of their evil, the evil in their heart, they were blocking those informations from going to the grassroots. They refused to install receivers in all the corners of Biafra land. With the monies that have been spent for radio, by now we are supposed to have Radio Biafra all over Biafra land. But they were blocking it because they didn't want the people to know the truth on the grassroots. So the people who are the leaders in the grassroots, all they tell the people is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is looking for our freedom. We're going to get our freedom very soon. Just contribute money. So the people, all they do is contribute money. They were not asking questions. They're not asking about the strategy. They're not asking about what structure, what do we have on ground, what kind of plan do we have. We're not saying that you tell the people all the plans, but of course, when you see a structure that is workable, you identify it and you know. But all of these things, the people were still living like they thought this was a usual, another family meeting. Just like they do in their families, they will gather money, people will contribute, they will give to one man, they will go and put in an account, they will bring anything, they will write on paper, they say, this is what we have spent, in this family and all of that. And the people will believe because there's no bank statement and all of that. I remember what happened to my community recently. I was discussing with my father. And of course, my father is an auditor, a chartered accountant and an auditor. And then in our community, from my local government, there's a particular, confusion and quarrels and all of that. And then they came to my father and we need to settle this matter. Of course, as an elder and the first son, he's the first son from my father. So he's the head anyways, from his father anyways. So he's there. So they called him, they say he has to settle it and all of that. And he knew that the problem must be from funds. That is why when some people come here and say that, why are you always talking about money? Why is it about money? They are fools, because the problems that are always caused in everything that is caused, that causes that problem, whatever causes it is basically finance. Because finance runs the structure. It is finance using running the structure. Now my father now called one of his brothers and son, his late brother, son, who is also in charge of the family because he's the first son. So on that level, he's in charge of the family contributions and all of that. And told him that, okay, you know what you're going to do? I want to settle this matter. And this is somebody who is very close to my father. Always, talking. I talk with him also. We talk, and of course, I know his children and all of that. And we always talk. And anytime I go to Biafra land, I and his children are very close, very, very close. Especially the daughters. We're very, very close. And we talk, and we laugh, and we just play anyhow. They are my nieces. So the way we talk, you'll be wondering. We talk like mates. And all of that, but they're very far younger, 20 something, early 20s, late 10s, and all of that. And my dad told him, okay, you know what you're going to do? Go to the bank and get the statement of account because accused of is from monies. And that was where the problem started. He now said, in fact, he wants to dissolve the committee. He doesn't want any. For I said, for which committee do you want to dissolve? I think his age grade, anyways, the meeting of his age grade. Which committee do you want to dissolve? I am the so you can't dissolve this. I have been called into this matter. He said, I want, because he is the president of that stuff, or the whatever they call them, in the communities and all of that. Age grade, I'm also part of that. I have not been functioning with them anyways because I'm not in Biafra land too. Sometimes I don't like the way people operate. Sometimes you have to be careful. But anyways, I've promised my father that I'm going to start coming in there, so we need to put sense into their brains. I think sometimes you need to join, in the family, what's happening in your family, to know what's happening, and then to need to educate and reorientate the people, get them to understand some stuff. So my father told him to go and get it. That was the end. He said he's going to dissolve. My father said, no, you can't dissolve this committee. That was the end. For the past 2 months or 3 months or so, he's not talking to my father. He doesn't even come to see him and all of that, and all of that. And then my father was just telling me this, and I was just laughing. I said, "Oh, okay. So this guy who claims to be a very godly person, and who claims to be very nice, and who claims to be the good guy among the village people, now is the one now behaving this way. Now it has come to money. That's when you need to know people, which means that it simply means that there are some things about the statement of account that when it comes out, it will leak the problems out, and it will look the fact that there are some criminalities going on. So he doesn't want to print this. What does this take to print statement of account? The other time he said that it will cost money. My father said, it's not your money now, it's the money of the family. Take money from there and go and print it out. Yes, it's not your money. He said, before he said he wants to stop everything. No, and they told him, no, you can't stop everything. Now the problem here is the money, right? Now you see, getting statement of account has become a problem for him. Now he's struggling to relate as he's supposed to relate and all of that. And my father was telling me something critically anyways, but let me not say that one here because it is part of auditing and accounting business, and so even if I'm not an accountant, I have some ideas of what happens, in the realm of accounting and all of that. So and then let me go now to the story, that I was analyzing and elaborating on. In the IPOB, there was this blockade. So the people were operating the way the people behave in the village. If not that my father came to talk about accounts and all of that, people will not know. Nobody's asking, but they are just there quarreling. All they do is quarrel and talk and talk and talk. And the first time my father asked for accounts, he just wrote some things on paper. These are the things we have expended, and gave to him. He said, no, in my profession, you don't just write something on paper, because how do I marry what you have expended with what actually had been expended? And you have to give me statement of account, to give me figures, because of course you can't with that one, unless you want to go and manipulate the bank and tell them to change figures, which they won't do. So the bank statements became the problem. But you can write something on paper and say, this is what we spent, this is what we got, and this is what we realized and spent. What these guys want in IPOB, just the paperwork, like what Simon and Co are doing now, just come to tell you, we have bought this is what we have bought, and we gave this one money. The Caterpillar 5 million. Oh, you didn't give me 5 million, you gave me 2 million. And they say, hey, yes, we know we gave you 2 million, 2.5 one time, but we also gave you the other time. Nonsense. These have been they didn't They don't give them information. They will continue to be amajiris, so that they will keep. Look, I saw a National Assembly person who is contesting for National Assembly in the zoo. I saw it in the papers and all of that. And they said he was that one of the people contesting for National Assembly bought this, this their box for shoe shining, bought some stuff and gave to many youths. I saw many gave to, so they have turned the whole, this is very funny. The young men, they gave them boxes to go and start shining shoe on the street. And these guys were excited. You know why they're excited? They are so comfortable with their situation and their level that they believe that by Allah's standard, these people are their position to give them stipends because they are not educated. So that's why they said Western education forbidden, because it will open your mind to so many things. You know, they don't want the people to be knowledgeable. They don't want to give the people, that's Boko Haram. They don't want the people to be knowledgeable and all of that. Boko Haram means Western education is forbidden. So they forbid these things so that the people are not educated. The same thing also in Biafra land, even if our people are knowledgeable by academic levels and all of that, the application of academic knowledge based on the fact that in the academic approach, people are not really taught practically how to deal with things. So majority of the people, even in the communities who went to school, don't even know that in their village meetings, they are supposed to begin to practice most of these things they learned and then be able to convert it to their practical life experiences and all of that. So in their communities, people contribute money. Nobody asks questions, nothing, just like that. And then anybody just gives record. Hey, this is what you have spent. They just bring one notebook. They wrote some stuff. That is how they were operating IPOB. They were operating it that way. And when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now wanted to do something unique that will stop every contribution, that will just end this thing once and for all by raising ES and then raising the dragon flag, they knew that their source of income has been threatened. They need to sell this man finally and collect more money from the zoo. Now that they have put, 100 million on him and other people are putting their monies, so they need to now sell him off. And that is why we said we need a fact-finding committee. We're not dullards. You're talking about professionals. We are professionals. Professors have come into this thing, this Biafra project. So we'll continue to educate our people and open the minds of our people. I wish we're able to. God will help us, because we need to, by God's grace, we're going to get to the point where we're going to be broadcasting through Radio Biafra or any other means where people will be hearing our voices in the communities, so that people will be knowledgeable. But hopefully, by God's grace, people will begin to send messages to their people to understand in their communities. Send tell them in IPOB where they are. Tell them to begin to do the records right. All they do is collect money from the people. We need money for Hilux. They contribute and give to them. We need money for, before you know it, everybody forgets. Hey, I think it was 2 years ago we contributed. Oh, it was last month, we contributed for this. So how much did we even contribute? The person will now come orally and tell you, we contributed so. You now brings a notebook that maybe he has gone to, altar. And then he tells you this is how much you contributed. And everybody will believe. Nonsense. So they fought Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, let's take this thing more closer to what we're talking about, based on the fact that we're talking about Biafra projects now. The people knowledge have been distorted. But remember, this thing began after the first genocidal war against Biafrans, in 1967 to 1970. Swindling their own people, really terrible. That's it. That's people, oh my God. Now, let's go back to that point. Remember, after that time, the people were given little monies. They were given 20 pounds. Those who had thousands, millions in their accounts, they were given 20 pounds. Those are in the community who don't have accounts, you're on your own. And so other places were thriving. They were making Lagos to become very, very lucrative and all of that. The people began to, those who are in Lagos, to say, okay, please, let's go to Lagos and make it. They started strategy of diverting the people's minds to believe that in their land, there's nothing profitable. The refineries are not working. Even the oils are not even working there. You have to take the oils to the cities. They stopped the people from directly controlling resources, and then made them believe that to get opportunities, they have to go to places like Lagos and all of that. That was when the woes of our people began. And I'll tell you how. I'll tell you why that is a fundamental problem to what we're doing right now, and how psychologically it affects the way we operate now. Let me tell you how this. Now, in the Bible, in Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 21, there's something Jesus, let me not say Jesus, let me say Yehoshua, because that's his name. I don't know what these people are calling Jesus. Of course, we know, for me, I know that Jesus, to me, I'm referring to Christ. Let's say it's the English version. Anyways, I'm referring to Yeshua, or Yehoshua, and Yahweh Yeshua, that's whom I'm referring, and so in Matthew, he said something. Matthew chapter 6, from verse 10, you will see the Lord's Prayer. After the Lord's Prayer, he started analyzing and saying some stuff. In verse 19 of that chapter 6 of Matthew, he said something critically. He said, you should not lay your treasures on earth, where moth, where other insects and all things can destroy. But you should lay your treasure, in verse 20, it says, you should lay your treasures in heaven, where nothing can destroy them. Now, let me bring it practically or figuratively to the context of Biafra nation and the people of Biafra. The heaven here refers to Biafra nation. The earth here refers to outside your land. Because when you put your treasures outside your land, you give room to those who hate you to invade, scavenge, take what belongs to you. We have seen many stories of what is happening to Biafrans, their investments in Lagos, and all of that, and all of that, and all of that. One, remember, the psychological side of it had been deposited on the minds of the people, engrossed and enshrouding their minds, captivating their minds and buried in their heart. And of course, that's from their mind and of the fact that your land is not barren, and every two ways it comes from psychological imposition that you must make it when you go out. You will not make it in your land. The second one is that your family members will come against you when you begin to invest in your land, and they will begin to, the jealousy and all of that, they will want to kill you. So these are the two. They use traditional beliefs, false traditional beliefs, and the social side of it, in the economic side of it, economic side of it, of course, socio-economic side of it, which has to do with a national impression by the colonial masters, using it as a means of suppressing your mind to believe that you cannot make it in your land, because they have messed up the land. They have taken everything that belonged to you. They have destroyed the industries. During the war, they destroyed so many things. They destroyed all the opportunities that were there, and then you have to go to Lagos to make it, because they didn't give you 20 pounds. Those they give 20 pounds, they need somewhere to make that 20 pounds better. If you put the 20 pounds in your land will not give you anything. So take the 20 pounds to where the businesses are thriving, like Lagos, and then you make something. So the mindset here have been put in the people, and then of course these people give birth to children, and they give, some of them are born in Lagos. Some of us who are born outside Biafra land, you begin to have that impression that it is outside you make money, and when you go back to your village, you just go and show off, and just go to your village, and then they will hail you and welcome you. Uncle has come, auntie has come, this has come, that has come, our father has come, blah blah, and all of this stuff. So our people, because of their ego, you see, these colonial masters are very evil. They know the egocentric nature of our people, and they capitalized on that to deal with them. Now, when they give them 20 pounds, they diverted them and showed them where they have to go and invest. Go to Lagos. That's where the opportunities are. You cannot invest in your land. They made it so much that in your land you cannot produce effectively. They made your land barren to you, and they directly or indirectly told you that where you're going to succeed is either you travel outside the shores of Nigeria, the contraption called Nigeria, or you go to Lagos and other places, like Ibadan, or all those places where they are doing some stuff, especially Lagos, because the ports were working, and our people are business people. They like traveling. So they now psychologically position the people in this mindset, and now that became a problem. Now our people have grown to believe that success comes by leaving Biafra land, which means that spiritually you have less confidence in your land and in your territory, your location. So you have been disconnected spiritually, psychologically, and otherwise from your territory, and you believe that you can only make it outside there. That means you have sold your treasures, and you are now sowing. You sold your treasure. Remember, in spiritual realm, you sold it out, and then just like when you sell your birthright, and then you now take the treasure that have been sold, put it in a foreign land, which is the earth, according to this. I just want to use this scripture as a basis of explaining this. Now, remember, on the earth, what you will always have on earth is either, most of them are people who want to kill you. Let me give you an instance. Do you know that in your body today, there are so many bacteria fighting to kill you? It is your antibodies defending you every moment. That is why sometimes you see boil on your body. Sometimes you see some sweat and all of this stuff, and you see some germs coming out of your body. When you take the microscope, you see some things coming out of the body. You see shit coming out of the body when you eat and all of this stuff. There are so many things fighting to kill you. I had to go that way. And I'm just looking at the time. Anyways, it seems I will not be able to explain it very well here. That's why I'm just rushing it. But I'm going to try to give a perspective to this now, so that people can understand. Because we need to see, the more we keep plunging into why are we in the mess we are in, that is when the solution is coming. Because we're just doing the same thing every time we're jumping. Biafra, hey, somebody will come and tell you, today now Simon posted the warship. They said that Britain is bringing warship by Sahara reporters. They are bringing warship to secure the territory. And I went to Sahara reporter to look at the narrative. And I saw some people saying, good move. Some people were saying that good one. Just commenting. And some were saying, they started linking it. Simon himself indirectly started linking it to himself. That you have not seen anything, you are bringing worship, you are going to blah blah. That means he indirectly saying that it is his actions that is causing that. But of course, we know what is causing that. We know it is the issue of the coups going on. And of course, Nigeria is a very strategic place where Britain wants to secure, because they are losing interest in Mali. They have lost so many things. They are losing territories all over Africa. And it's like Russia is taking over. They want to secure their interests. If they miss Nigeria, so the best now is to do everything, send the warships and beef up security in Nigeria, so that what thing will cause devastation. Because Simon showcased 10 guys somewhere, and that is why they are sending warship. It doesn't make sense. No, Britain, they know what he's doing. They know he's just manipulating you. So if you think that it is all those ones who are hailing, our prime minister, our so-called prime, they keep us up. That is why. It's just the highest. So just understand that it is because of the insecurity going on, based on the fact that Gabon here, Niger Republic here, coups and all of that, and they need to secure their greatest asset. Their greatest asset is Nigeria. Do you know how much they're making in Nigeria? They don't want coup. They don't want anything that will distort so they want to secure Nigeria. But their end has come anyways, because so many factors, including those who are criminally stealing from the people, and those who are, whatever it is, Chukwueke will give us results by any means, both the good and the bad. But it do not come from the hands of the bad people, but they will be used and they will be dealt with. So now, had this psychological disposition, consciously or unconsciously, so subconsciously, that the only way to make it is to move outside Biafra land. Once it is outside Biafra land, they are excited. Oh my God. Now, I'm going to tell you how this thing links. Maybe by Wednesday, I'll continue this before I go to, maybe on Friday also, I'll go into the Somalia and the South Sudan thing, and then give you the reason why we don't. Now, I'll give you all of that. Now, see, that is a very serious problem we have. Let me tell you, because it is the link to every anomaly and error going on now. Do you know that psychologically now, most people don't even believe in Biafra, because spiritually they sold the value they have for their land based on the fact that their minds have been redirected by the colonial program of Nigeria through Britain to believe that success is never in Biafra land. It is always outside. The reason why most people don't see Biafra as possible or as something that can be achieved or something they need to support or fund, and why they will always want to, even by physical actions. You see them, they prefer to buy lands outside Biafra land. They prefer to build buildings, magnificent buildings. But when they want to build in Biafra land, they just build something. But when they go outside, the ones that will bring money, they build it outside. The businesses, the major office, they'll tell you their headquarters is in Lagos or somewhere else, not in their land. Or maybe because for Igocha has been developed. It's not Port Harcourt, it's Igocha. So they also, okay, some of them will move to Igocha too. Their own place is barren. Why? There is this serious error that have taken place. And this error we're going to be talking about much, much more as we go on in these programs. We're going to talk about it. Because fundamentally, if you look at it psychologically, if you look at it, in other ways, and like socially, if you look at it religiously, you will discover the dichotomy. You will discover the problem. Now, religiously first, remember, the minds of our people were moved away by colonial activities from their belief in their way of worship. Of course, we had real worship of God, even if they were not knowledgeable about Christ. But even when the Christ was revealed through the scriptures brought by the British, they made this Christ look like what we are doing does not have anything to do with God, and that their pattern is what Christ approves. So they created a pattern and designed it in a way that you would believe that it is the UK or the British that have the sole design or the sole appropriate manner or way to access God. Now, this is deep, right? Because some people might not understand. Did you know that most Jews... Now, I would want to go, I don't want to go this line of religion, but there's some things I will say that some Christians will be disappointed. I'm a strong Christian. But you know what? Christianity was a connotation given in Athens to the people who believed or who behaved like the Savior. Not because Christianity is supposed to be an organized religion. So I might say I am not a Christian, but I believe in, because Christianity was a construct for organized religion. So they called the people Christians because they had a pattern, the way they behaved, like the Messiah. But it was cashed into, by the Roman Empire to create a narrative, which of course is called Christian in their words or in their Grecian or Roman words or English word. They coined Christian and made it Christian. So they now caused a division between a Jew and a Christian. Whereas even Jesus himself, or Yeshua himself, was a Jew. He never said he's a Christian. He said he is a Jew. He says salvation is of the Jews. Go and read John chapter 3, and you understand his conversation with that woman. He says salvation is of the Jews. You know why? The truth about God's program for humanity is that people will be restored to the Jewish way of operation and worship. Go and read the book of Revelations. They will not be restored to Christianity, no. Christianity is only a name that you received by people giving you that name because you are behaving like somebody who is good, like because you are behaving like Christ. You were taking his ways, and the way he was preaching the gospel and talking about the right thing and all of that. But Christianity itself they use that as just like when we are talking about let's have accounts for what we're doing, and people say, hey, see them accountability. When we were saying we want accountability, people say, hey, accountability and transparency, as a mockery. Christianity was used as a mockery. Then the people now decide to take the name. So just like you try to mock us with the accountability and transparency, and we now say, yes, we're taking that name because it's good for us. but that doesn't mean that we are different from the program of freedom. We are only carrying out a program that will help us access the same freedom that IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, created. And that program is inside of IPOB, and we are part of IPOB, and we are fully IPOB because indigenous people of Biafra, and at the same time carrying out the same program Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was given to. So the same thing also, the Jews are of God, and everything that Jesus came to do was to fulfill the law of the Jews, fulfilling them in the sense of accomplishment. That means upholding the concept of love so that you don't do evil to your fellow man, and then you sustain the law. You know what Paul says something? Paul says something, I've forgotten the scripture. It says, bear ye one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Christ. Bear ye one another's burden. If you look at the Old Testament, you discover that the details were of bearing the burden of others, considering other people. That's why Jesus talked about the golden rule. Whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them. What you don't want them to do, don't do to them. So it was like summing it up in the context of love. And that was why he died. That means what I am doing is just trying to make you understand how love operates. Love sacrifices. So it was not because we have to be Christians. It was because we are going to be restored back to God. Even if we accept the name, and because the name Christian is like they behave like Christ, that doesn't mean that Christianity is outside the doctrine of the Jews. That's why we're making mistakes. People don't study. But I'm not going this far today. I don't want to go into this religious. Now, I want to take us back again to how our psychology was affected. But I'm not going to, because it's already 1 hour for this teaching. I'm going to continue this teaching on Wednesday, sorry. That's in 2 days, penultimate day. You know, I'm going to continue it on Wednesday. And the issue of Sudan and that I talked about and all of that, and the reference to the fact that we don't need Biafra now, I'm going to give you more of that analysis after that. Let me see how far I can go on Wednesday on this particular topic, because I want to go deep into what happened to us and how we sold our land and rejected our freedom by our behavior, spiritually and physically. I'm going to give you critical analysis on this path that I'm taking now, so that we can together begin to identify where our problems are from. And then by the time we begin to know where our problems are from, you and I will now begin to sit together, as we are saying we need to come together under the auspices of Accountability and Transparency Group, which is of IPOB, and then sit down and begin to think of how we're going to solve our problems, rather than doing the same thing over and over and getting excited by people's activities who are swindling you, stealing from you. As Ego says, swindling their own people. So that's it. So please like this video, share it on all your social media platforms. People need to begin to get to this perspective of teaching and begin to understand what we're saying here, because God brought us into this to begin to open the eyes of our people. And except you begin to download this video, send it to the communities for people to listen, they will not get the message. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu preached. The DOS members and all those people who were stealing in the name of taking money for Radio Biafra were stealing the resources. And that Radio Biafra could not reach the people in the grassroots. And so they were not able to hear the gospel. That is why they are confused. When you call Biafra land, people will say they're confused. They don't know who to follow. You know why? The message could not penetrate. And that is what the criminals wanted. But we are here to solve it. We are helpers. We are watchers of what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stands for. And God has positioned us to help to further this gospel as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was given. I want to appreciate you guys for being part of this. I didn't see the e-frogs today counter or come to abuse or insult, but I always expect them every day. I know that some of them are watching, their agents will be watching also. They will watch later and they will send it to their coven to try to manipulate, but they can't, because the truth is every time new and fresh. I want to appreciate you guys. My name is Kelechi Ambrose. Please like this video, share on all your social media platforms. Those who don't like truth are unsubscribing from this channel, but you that likes the truth, subscribe and let's grow it, because the more you subscribe, the more we reach out to more people and the more this channel can be conspicuous to the world. We want to grow this channel and grow it in truth, not grow in lies. So I'm not going to compromise the standard of truth because I want to grow the channel. No, I'll stay on the path of truth, and I will admonish you to subscribe, because I know there are many truthful people out there who would always stand on the path of truth and believe in what we're doing, and then know that, yes, we are carrying out this program for humanity and see that we're going to get our freedom. We'll get our freedom, but as much as we can and understand that getting our freedom is on the path of truth, not on the path of lies. We can't get it on the path of lies. No, it's not possible. And nothing will make me compromise, and because of position or money or anything, compromise truth. You can't. I can't compromise. And thank you so much, all. I appreciate you. Ego, thank you so much for the messages. And I thank you for watching, those of you watching, and those who are going to watch later. I want to appreciate you on Wednesday. Narrative. If you didn't listen from the beginning, go back to the you'll know that, yes, there's content in this, and more things are coming as Chukwokika will open our minds and give me the revelation, speak to us and all of that. Nigeria is home of wealth. They will always want to protect it. Yes, that's it. That's final words from Ego here. Nigeria is home of wealth. Home, it becomes their home because we allowed them, and then it has become their wealth. Not just their home, but their home of wealth. Not for anything else. They're not living here, but they're stealing from you to protect it, and so they're sending their warship, and all. We will stop them by calling on you. Together we're going to do this together. We're going to get results. I want to see, okay, if I can put a number, if you want to be part of it, want us to talk and discuss. The number is on the screen. You can join. We can join forces and send a message. You want to be part of the accountability and transparency. Let's reason together. Let's work together. Unless we sit together, all these things happening in our jamborees. Unless we come together and be out our ideas together and come to a conclusion on how we're going to free ourselves. Expecting you, dancing around them. They'll keep exploiting, starting from you. You'll keep dancing around them. So just that number, send the message on that number, and you'll receive response. We want to work together, you and I coming together, and we'll get results. I want to appreciate you. Thank you. I love you all. This is 8 minutes past 6 in Biafra land. We just spent about 1 hour, 7 minutes, or let's just say with the seconds there, 1 hour, 8 minutes for this broadcast. Sorry. Thank you all. I appreciate you. See you on Wednesday again. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Really good. I love you all, and stay safe, stay sound. Listen to the broadcast again and get the message, get the real message. Thank you. God bless you. Really good.